The past few years have been filled with growth for Santino Le Saint and many firsts, boasting a successful 13-day UK and European tour, a partnership with Jordan for JD Sport, and a support tour with 070 Shake. Santino has spent the best part of the last 2 years on tour and thrives on stage, but has taken steps towards living a healthier, sustainable lifestyle despite being surrounded by temptation. Dubbed a one to watch by the Independent newspaper and Wonderland, he continues to win people over with his innate talent and a larger-than-life personality. And Santino Le Saint joins me now. Hi, how are you doing?
Hiya, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks very much for asking. For listeners who are just discovering your music, can you tell us about when you started writing and performing?
I can. The earliest memories I have of existing, I was already singing. My dad is a musician, and I was around him listening to and making a lot of music from a really young age.
Right.
So I think about 8 years old, I started playing the piano. 12 years old, I started playing guitar, and I was in a few bands, and it kind of developed from me playing metal guitar in a lead band to becoming a singer somehow. But singing was always constant through the whole thing.
Singing all the time. And did you perform anywhere that was very special when you were, heading up to the big time, as it were?
Well, I guess you kind of never realize that you never realize you're in the big time. Let's say I am now, which I'm not at all. You never really realize, it's always sounds so, cheesy, but like the journey is such an important thing to me. And when you're focused on like just every day making sure you do something creatively that you are inspired by and inspire other people, you kind of forget where you are and you try not to think about it too much. So everything kind of, when I've got my first 100 people at a gig and when I had my first 2,000 people, kind of feels just as lovely,
Yes. Sometimes the intimate gigs as well are the ones that are most memorable as well, aren't they?
100%.
And then you've got the contact with the audience, haven't you? And you've got that instant reaction rather than having loads and loads of people screaming in an arena.
Yeah, exactly. Also, intimate gigs mean you have to listen. Like if there's, a gig of 2,000 people, it's great because it's like really high production and it's really fun. But if you're in a room with 50 people, no one can talk. And it means that you have to really be zoned in on the storytelling. And I do love that.
Yes. And have you done any recent gigs that have been that kind of closeness with the audience?
I have actually. I started a thing with the label that I'm on called CloudEx, which is called CloudEx Jam. And it's basically an open mic style series that happens monthly where we invite loads of friends and friends of friends and stuff like that down. And we have 3 artists perform. And usually I host it and perform, trying to turn into a host because I find it very fun.
Excellent.
And it's like 50 people and we're just sitting on the floor. So it's perfect. It's those vibes.
And whereabouts does that happen? Is it something that you organise personally, or is it something that anybody can come along to, as it were?
Anybody who we invite can come along. It's open, but it's also like 50 people. So it's really hard to like try and invite people. What we usually do is we just, like, if, we speak to someone, if you were in Brixton, I'd be like, yeah, come down, it's on Wednesday. And then with other people, we just have a sign-up list if they're not in London or whatever, and be like, come to this one.
Oh, that's excellent, that.
Yeah.
So you never know who's going to be coming along, but it's a maximum of 50.
Yeah, basically.
Excellent. That's absolutely fantastic. Now, you're currently bringing rock and hip-hop together like no other UK artist right now. Was it accidental, or were you looking to record something more different to everybody else?
Absolute fluke. No, joking, wasn't. I grew up basically with those two things very heavily influencing my day-to-day life. I think I found rock music when I was about 12, 13, and it was the only genre. When I say rock, actually, I more mean metal, and it was the only genre of music that my parents didn't listen to. So I think it was a bit of rebellion from me trying
That's right. Was it a bit of Ned's Atomic Dustbin and Metallica and all them?
Yeah. Slipknot, Bullet for My Valentine, the whole thing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I bet you the neighbours loved you.
Yeah, absolutely hated me. My mum did too, because I kept bringing home Slipknot posters and scaring my little brothers. But whatever. They got over it.
Excellent. That's great. I love that story. Now, coming from Brixton, were you influenced by any local artists growing up? As the last time I was there in Brixton, there was always this music coming from somewhere, and especially down Electric Avenue, because I've been down there.
Well, yeah, I would really say my dad and his group. He was in a hip hop group in the late 90s, I guess, called 57 Dynasty, and that would have had more of an impact on me than I probably know. Being around the early recording, studio sessions, and I'm even on some of the songs. There's a song where him and my mum are arguing on a song, so it's basically my life.
Excellent.
But into songs. So yeah.
That's amazing. And is there still a bit of a vibe down Electric Avenue? Because I know that the market's still there. I have done my research because I did go down there quite a while ago, and I'm talking about years and years ago, and all I could hear was like kind of like reggae music kind of thing. So I bet you the vibe's totally changed now, because that I'm talking about probably 20 odd years ago.
Yeah. No, there's still a big Caribbean community generally in Brixton. So there are still like loads of Rastas playing from like stereo systems and hanging around. So it still does feel very full of like Caribbean culture. But I wasn't there 20 years ago. I was probably in nursery, but
yes.
I can imagine that it was less commercialized. It's definitely busy now, and it's, shops are popping up with chains and all of these things, and whether you agree with that or not, it's definitely happening. But there's definitely still a vibe for sure.
Still a vibe for sure. Because when I was last there, it was absolutely fantastic, and I was living in a flat on a street called Helix Road, just off Helix Road, which I think is one of the main roads there in Brixton. And I went to a place called The Fridge. Is that still there?
Yeah, The Fridge is now called Electric Brixton. That's what it's called now.
It's not another rum bar, is it?
No.
Excellent. Yeah, great memories in Brixton there. Now, with over 671,000 million listeners on Spotify, and at last count, the last time I checked a moment or two ago, your number one song on the channel Cigarettes and Alcohol, gaining 13,347,180 plays. What was the feeling like waking up to those kind of figures?
Oh, pretty good. Yeah, it's nice to see, but I think in a digital age, it's sometimes really confusing when you see numbers, because trying to fathom what 13 million listeners is like, I can't, right? But I tell you, getting your first million feels the same as getting your first 100,000, which feels the same as getting your first 10,000. It's all great, but the milestones just move every time you hit them. So I try to not focus on it, on the numbers, and just be true to what I want to create.
Yeah, it's and you seem to be you're very down to earth as well, which is very, very good.
Yeah.
Everybody that I've spoke to on interviews, whether you've had somebody may have had 300 million views on YouTube, like an artist Dici that I interviewed a couple of weeks back. He was very relaxed as well, so it's good that you're staying down to earth and living the rock and roll lifestyle, as it were, or the hip-hop lifestyle.
I guess it's an interesting balance, to somewhat live a rock star lifestyle and be down to earth, but I think it's the most important thing. I think especially nowadays with social media, if you're not down to earth or chilled and all of those things, people see right through you. If you don't actually have a lovely personality or are a decent person.
Of course. Yes. You're like a shop window, aren't you, really? You can't just go in the studio and record. You need to get out there and show people your craft rather than just letting them hear it. So yes, it's very interactive now, isn't it?
I agree. And I feel as if actually people don't like a diva anymore. Not that one has to try to be, or whether I'm trying to be polite at all. It's not that. It's more just No one likes that. No one wants that. No one wants a
No.
diva artist. We actually just want someone we enjoy speaking to and like and is
That's right,
personable.
someone that you can relate to as well.
Yeah, no, everyone hates a diva, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I haven't met any yet.
Well, good
So
luck. Good
look,
luck on your journey.
hopefully I don't.
Yeah, yeah, we'll
You're right.
see.
We'll see in the future. Now we have a new EP out now. Can you tell us about it and where we can get a copy?
Yes, the new EP is called New Material. It's an acoustic EP. It's the first time I've ever released an acoustic project. Really wanted to go back to my roots and songwriting and have a soundtrack that is, melancholy and calming. And you can get it anywhere online and in real
Anywhere.
life, maybe. Yeah.
You get it on Amazon Music, iTunes, other
All of
brands
them.
are
All of them.
obviously available, but all of
Yeah.
them, that would be great. And are you going to be releasing any of your music on vinyl?
I would love to, but I've heard recently there's a vinyl shortage in the UK.
Yes, I do understand
Really?
that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I would love to. Apparently, there's like a 6 month wait though.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So ask me in 6 months, but I would love to. I would love
You'd
to.
love to, because I mean, have you ever bought a vinyl record at all? And if you have, what's your favorite?
I haven't bought one, but my dad's vinyl collection is extremely impressive. And I'll probably say one of his like John Coltrane or Miles Davis vinyls he's got.
Oh, lush.
They're what I grew up listening to, and they just have memories of them playing in the house, while I'm doing my homework.
Any particular Miles Davis track that you liked, or do you just like them all?
What's that song called? Blue and Green?
Oh, right,
My
yes.
favorite song. I believe so. I like that song.
Yeah, I like a bit of jazz myself. Yes, I
Yeah,
do. Yes, Miles Davis, absolutely fantastic he is. Now, we've talked about the vinyl and we've talked about your favorite one. We're going to move things along a little bit because I'm going to ask you, would you consider releasing a rock and a hip hop album in the future?
In one? In one album is what you're saying?
In two, because there's somebody that I interviewed a while back. She actually interviewed Hayley Griffiths. She actually released a Celtic and also a rock album. So I'm just testing the water to see if this is something that is going to be getting a trend.
100%. I mean, I've always blended it into one thing, but I feel like every artist goes through a period where they end up making a rock album, and for a lot of people, let's say it doesn't translate very well. But I wouldn't be making it up if I did it, because that's just what I listen to and what I have made, in different ways and being in bands. So it's kind of like, I think it'd be actually a way more of a normal offering compared to a lot of artists. So it makes a lot of sense for me to do that.
Well, one of your great tracks off the EP, Whisky and Wine from your EP, which is your current single, sounds great with its great guitar rhythm carrying the song. I believe it was written whilst you were in France at a writing camp. Could you tell us about that?
I went to France in February last year, over Valentine's Day, actually, just after I'd broken up with my long-term girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, perfect time to write songs though.
Yes.
I wrote Whisky and Wine basically about two people not working together, essentially. But you keep trying, and it's kind of like drinking and mixing your drinks and then being hungover and saying you're not going to drink again, and then 2 days later you do the same thing. It was kind of the feeling I tried to embody in the song.
And did you get a bit of influence of like the country style as well there? Because that guitar, when you hear it, it's quite, I don't know if it's right saying this, it's quite like eerie, like ghosty, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's quite
100%.
eerie. And I love that actually, because that's something which it really draws you into the song. Is it something that was intentional, that?
It was actually inspired by country. The whole song itself was very country inspired because I love how they tell stories. Yes. And I really wanted to story tell with this song in the way. And when my friend called Will played the original riff, I was like, this is the perfect thing. And I've been listening to a lot of country music. Specifically, Chris Stapleton is one of my favorite artists of all time. So
Right. I mean, there's a lot of the country pop, as they call it, coming into the charts at the minute. I recently interviewed Nick Edwards, who was on Britain's Got Talent, and he's currently going to be doing some recording in Nashville and things.
Oh,
Is
cool.
it something that you would endeavour to do in the future?
I would love to. I think that because of my range of influences growing up, I have a deep love for a lot of different genres of music, like everybody, but I also have a deep connection to them, you know? And
Yes.
and I've explored them, and I'd love to go to the homes of all of these places and really dive into learning how to make them properly, you know?
Yeah, well, we'll have to watch this space, because you never know.
Yes.
Hip hop, rock, and now whatever else. Country.
Yeah, whatever you want. Whatever you want, I can do it.
Fabulous. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, and I would like to wish you all the very best with your EP. And before you go, have you got any projects that you've got coming up in the future?
I do. I have some new music coming at the end of the year, let's say. Keeping it all hush hush, but yeah.
Oh, right. Would there be maybe a possible collaboration somewhere?
There might be.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
then. So
We'll see.
We'll watch this space then.
Exactly.
Fabulous. So where can we catch you? Have you got a website that people can go to and follow you, or any of your socials that you could give us?
My website, as well as all of my social media, is Santino Le Saint. So www.santinolesaint.com and at Santino Le Saint everywhere.
That's excellent. So we'll catch up with you there. Thank you so much for appearing on the show. And finally, Santino, could you introduce your latest single?
I can. This is Whisky Wine by me, Santino Le Saint.
Santino Le Saint, thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. All the best. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye.